So, movie review for Conclave. And I thought I was mispronouncing this, but actually it is pronounced Conclave. So, what I think, the lady, so actually, let me say this. There's a woman that have seen this film. Because I waited outside the theater for like maybe 20 minutes because I did the arcade games and I said, that was fun. But now I'm going to, I think I'll maybe even have the clip. I did make a clip of it, and maybe I can link that clip or see if it's saved and I can add it to the video as a little bonus feature on the video. But no, it's she mentioned this movie was awesome. She said, "Oh, I think you're gonna like it." It gets you like she mentioned like this is it's a real movie. Like, wow, it's a good movie. And I get what I see it. Obviously I saw it, right? And I have to say I agree with her on that motion. It's a good movie. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed it. The film, the sort of the drama, how it unbuilds, how our guy, he says I don't want to do this. I don't want to be Pope. And the other dude, he's very opinionated. I guess he's very liberal because they use the word libertarian, or no. But like this guy, I guess he is the embodiment of it. But even right, the people that we're like, it kind of reminds me, I guess, of people in reality, right? We point out the flaws in others, and then we say, oh, that person cannot be the leader. That person can't lead us. This person can't do this or that. But the question will be like, will we step up to be a leader, to do that? Because it's a big responsibility. And I guess maybe that's, we like to, everybody's saying like what so and so shouldn't do, what person shouldn't be in charge. But when it comes down to, having to be picked yourself to be in charge, it's not happening. So I guess Mr. Lawrence, I guess he does lie in that one scene, perhaps. Or maybe, Bellini, he relates to him because he realizes that he doesn't, or maybe he was telling the truth, actually, when he said, because he mentions, oh, you please, every cardinal, because I guess it's like the second in command to Pope, being a cardinal is pretty high in the church, right? If you raise to that rank. I'm not sure how it works, actually, how the Catholicism church structure works, but, Bellini says to him, every cardinal thinks of a name that they would like to be called if they were to become Pope. And because he tells them, well, what's your Pope name? He says, oh, I don't know. I don't have one. And he's like, bullshit, that's a lie. Every cardinal has thought of that at some point. But, I know Aldo Bellini, he doesn't know himself, right? He doesn't know who he is as a person. And I like when he has that moment where he sits with Lawrence and he says, it's embarrassing. I think he says it's embarrassing. He says something to the fact of I'm this age. He acknowledges his age. I'm an older person. I'm not went by so far young. I've been alive for a while. But I don't know who I am as a person. I'm not fully confident in who I am. And I think maybe Lawrence's character had the same dilemma where he didn't fully know who he was. And so now that I'm thinking about it in my head, when he asked him that question about what name will you pick as Pope, maybe it actually wasn't a lie. Or he was being truthful, but the reason he hasn't answered now, and his name is John, the reason he knows now is because of the ordeal that he's going through of leading the conclave. He's the dean, which I guess the dean is like the leader. He was chosen. And we know before the father died that he didn't want to do this job anymore. I guess whatever job he was, I don't know if he was dean before, if he was just a cardinal working in the Vatican. He's working the higher upper echelons of the Catholic Church, right? And he apparently he said that to him, I want to resign, and he doesn't resign, or he's not allowed, he's not permitted to. The father, that was in charge, makes it so that says, no, you cannot, you have to be continuing this work, you have to be in this job. And then what else I was gonna say, because there's another important fact with this. Oh my god, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, he also appoints him to lead because I guess, and I think when they said that, it was true, right? The guy knew I was sick. Actually, he knew he was sick because he kept it under wraps. That he would have resigned before he died in office, and Bellini, we know Bellini was close to him. Bellini would play chess with him like every uh like I like in the afternoons and the evenings rather often, like quite often. They'll play chess together, and we learn from that fact that the reason being for that is it would calm him, help him to relax. But yeah, we know the sister. So this woman, she doesn't have much screen time. She has very little, or not very little, but like she is a minor character in some regard, but she's also not, because she does have this very powerful, impactful moment when all these men are yelling and screaming, and she comes out and she yells, makes her presence known, and she says, she bears witness as the testimony to the accusation. She bears it as truth. She says true what he was thinking, because he figured it out. I'm telling you, because I'm here, because I was there, I can confirm it. It's true. Exactly what he was trying to figure out is true, and he really did do that shit. Which is that he brought this I forgot what its name. It was like starts with an A, but the Nigerian guy. And I like that they had the little ode of racism in the movie. The Italian guy says, "Oh, why? It's not just racism, but also I guess also like ethnosis. Is that even a word? But like the guy said, the church is in Italy. It's in Rome." He goes on this tangent, like they said, don't speak Latin. It's the old language. It's the language of the church. This is the old, the home grounds, And here I am. We have a pope. We haven't had an Italian pope in a while, which I think is a true fact. Actually, that's part of the movie. It's not fictitious. Like perhaps there's been no Italian pope for like a good while. And he said, like, that's why the Tamale, something like that. This guy said, like, it should be me, right? I should be the one to get it. He came from Venice. I guess we can call him the Venetian guy, right? How about that? The guy comes from Venice, but yeah, he makes a point to say that, of like, what do you call? It's like thinking of in my head that there hasn't been an Italian pope in a long while, and then he looks towards the table, because he mentions this, like everybody's at, English speakers are over there, the French are over here, all the Africans are over there, and he mentions about this guy that he becomes a black pope. How would that lead the church, right? That'd be quite monumental. This guy becomes pope, because before he was winning, he had like a lot of votes, but nobody was getting the necessary amount of votes to win overall, and it kept swaying. It really kept swaying too. Because then after he got lost out, Trumbull wasn't really winning any votes. I guess Trumbull's like the American guy, straight from the United States guy. And how do you call I like when they're in that meeting and they're assigning sides. Like, hey, you're gonna get this side. Hey, you're gonna talk to these people, and you're gonna get on these people's side. But what was I thinking of? Yeah, he mentions that of like oh my god, what was I gonna say? Of like like with the church, because that and then Bellini, he's progressive. He's a progressive guy. He sees that how the church has come along and being progressive and fostering new ideas and not reverting back to old misogyny and bigotry as they did before. And he can see that with this other dude that he's like he's like a right-wing fascist, I guess, kind of this sort of figure. It's that sort of figure that we see now of anti-immigration stuff like that. And he's like the exact opposite. He's like the liberal Democrat type guy, and I like when he tells him this is a war. This is a war, not how the church revert back. And when they picked Benitez, something like that, and maybe the reason his votes kept going up is because he's a newcomer. He's a fresh face. He's someone that hasn't ever been there before. His whole ministry thing was like secret, and the reason being, well, I guess one reason is because it was dangerous. Because he was serving in the Congo, and then he was the Democratic Republic of the Congo, right, country that's going to be perpetually in war, like forever. And then he was in Baghdad and Iraq, obviously bad situation there, and then Kabul, Afghanistan. And this movie is like concurrent with our current timeline, and that's like when the Taliban were like basically like we're running the country now. We won out. We beat these motherfuckers. The U.S. left. All these other allies, I guess they've been gone. So yeah, now we in charge of this. It's kind of a funny way of history, is it? How that kind of all transpired, and like I'm not sure which even presidency it happened under, but it's like either Trump or might have been Biden's or might have been under Trump's. I don't remember actually. But anyway, revert back to what I was saying. Yeah, this movie was, it was just good. It's just good. The story, it's always ever evolving, and there's no dull drag moments in this film. It's always something happening. I like that the drama isn't like, I guess it's drama filled, but it's sort of, it feels like, yeah, that's happening. This is happening. It's just a story that's ever so evolving. It takes a topic of like that could potentially be maybe a bit boring, like the religious. Because I saw the trailer for this. I guess that's really what intrigued me. This whole Catholic, like the because I got from the trailer. Okay, he dies, and I guess they're like panicking. It's panic mode. Like, oh my gosh, this guy's dead, and like we figure out pretty quickly. Like the conclave. This is like, I guess everyone. These are like people that are voting, and they're voting. The people that are going to be pope. They're within this group of conclave, right? And we're all voting in this together to figure out like what's going to happen next. And I like when that woman, she says that like we're made to be invisible. We're made to almost like not exist amongst you men, but we have ears and eyes. We see and listen. We can hear what's happening, and that's what Bellini was saying, and it rings true, right? Maybe women should play a more dynamic role in the church and shouldn't just be relegated to these. Because we see the kitchen scene, we get these nice. This movie is really like cinematography driven, and it's got really beautiful establishing shots. There are times where we get certain shots, and I'm thinking in my head, like this is perhaps supposed to convey some sort of emotion, a message of some sort. This particular where we're framing a person's in a certain light or like in the backdrop against these. You can tell with the shots, right, that they're meant to maybe sort of convey more than just being a standard boom shot and it's cut there. I'm not quite sure I can make up at the ending though. We know that he was relieved. He goes up to this guy, this like his investigative journalist type guy, that he's the one that tells him, hey, Benice is like a hermaphrodite. This is also a big thing with the show. And I think maybe that's also why he was hidden. It wasn't just he was in dangerous places and ministries. It also was because he was a hermaphrodite. And maybe the church is like, oh, the church really couldn't take that. They really would be like freaking, oh my God, what? He's not biologically fully male or female, right? He's a mix of the two. And but like he mentions this himself, like maybe that's what the church needs. It needs something different. And I'm that person that's different. I'm the person that's gonna come in and breach and foster a new idea, a new sort of like, this is how we can do things. This is how we can change up the game a bit here and not have it just be this same way. Let's say around my car. There we go. Oh, well, actually I felt something bend out of place. Probably check it later after the video because I'm trying to get it with my finger now and it's not working. But anyway, this movie is it's good. It's really good. I like this movie a lot. Conclave. It's a good movie. And I like when the Italian guy, he's got a vape. Like there's some like some of the what do you call those people? Cardinals. That's what they are. They're smoking cigarettes, and then this guy, he has his whole. This is like the moment after the woman makes the whole scream session, I think it was. And this Italian guy, he likes to like come in and like really yell and like make his presence known, because he's gotta have like a cockiness to him. And then he starts hitting his vape, and the audience and everyone in the crowd was laughing at that, and it was kind of funny actually, right? Because I guess it's like a, there's a sort of ground of like, I wouldn't expect a pope to be vaping, but here we are, and you're hitting the pen, and it's kind of funny. What was I thinking of? There were some more points that I wanted to talk about, things that in the film, like I like that. Sort of I guess he's struggling with his faith. I don't know. And even Benice asked him, the Mexican guy, right? He asked him like, hey, like why are you saying you can't be the Pope? Maybe it's something that it's like not said, but through action we realize why he cannot be Pope. And I definitely want to see other people's like reviews of it to see what are aspects that I'm missing out on. Something that I didn't catch. This is why it's nice to watch a movie with a person, because you can ask them, and obviously they will have a different interpretation of the film. They would see something or interpret some scenes in a way, and they'll explain that to you, right? And you can, like, I remember I watched the film No Zone. What was it? The Zone of Interest with my friend, and afterwards I asked him like what he thought about it, and he gave me some good insight. I might have even mentioned it in my, I gotta rewatch my review to see what I said about it, because I think I brought it up. But yeah, I watched it with him, and he mentioned some things about it that I didn't catch, that I didn't take note of, or I interpret as the same way as that he did, right? And it makes sense. And I was like, actually, that makes sense. The way you're saying there, kind of, it adds up. But it's an airplane flying overhead. There's a light in the distance, and I feel like it's a plane light, but it hasn't moved in like a while. And so I'm thinking, like, oh, maybe it's UFO. Do UFOs just appear randomly though? And light looks too bright to be a star, I feel. Anyway, what was I thinking of in my head? Yeah, Conclave. I like this movie. I enjoyed it very, very much. I liked it a lot. I like the score on the film. That the end credits. I love the music score for the end credits. I liked it a lot too. It was nice to sit and stay for all the credits and see how it is. And yeah, this movie is good. I definitely recommend it. I recommend it for sure. It's a good movie, and it feels it's not preachy either. You know, it's like it's not even, I won't even say it's a religious movie, right? It's a movie with that basis of like the Catholic faith, but it's not even. It's a movie that goes beyond that, right? Beyond the setting in which it's put in. And you just knew it. You knew it when Benice told him, he was talking about, oh, we're in a religious war, and he tells him like, you know, what do you know about war? You know, like honestly, like you're over here talking about, oh, war, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fight these people. Well, I can tell you, I've been in war zones. I've seen it firsthand. This reminds me of the Lauren Southern. She did a video about migrant crisis, right? That was affecting Europe back then. I think it might have slowed down now, or maybe it's not happening much anymore, but it was happening before, like 2015, 2016, 17, right? There's really bad crisis of people entering the country. A lot of them, maybe it's still happening actually, because that rhetoric that he mentioned, that's rhetoric that we were hearing back then. But I remember she would shower preach it, right? But then she had a documentary where she went out and she actually talked with these people. You know, she was on the ground, and she had a change of perspective, obviously, because she learned more and she broadened her horizon with that. And I like that we got to see that from her, how she changed, how she, you know, I was this way, but I was getting kind of stuck in an echo chamber of sorts, and doing this led me to learn more and to discover like this is more nuanced and complicated than I would have thought it to be. It's yeah, this movie is good. I like this movie. Definitely recommend. Conclave movie review. Awesome. Thank you for listening.